welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us today for another exciting episode of Enter the Square Circle, baby!
Yes, sir. We are back here again on another fine Sunday. We are here for men's Money in the Bank and Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. We will have 3 matches on this video, on this episode. The winners will go to the Money in the Bank. Obviously, the Money in the Bank winner gets a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. And the losers go to the Elimination Chamber, and the winner of the Elimination Chamber will get a shot at the mid-card title. So, without further ado, our first qualifier match, is Bray Wyatt versus Jimmy Uso. Bray Wyatt was Sammy Joe's draft pick, and Jimmy Uso was my pick. So, let's see who advances first.
Hey, we want some Bray. Hey, we want some Bray.
Who will advance?
Well, I mean, technically they both advance.
Right. I guess that's true. Although, I mean, I guess in theory, we're doing it to ourselves by actively always referring to it as a mid-card title. In theory, we could be doing the AEW route and trying to make them both, as important as the other. But in theory, if we're not, yes, one advances to the world title picture, one goes down to the mid-card picture, is how I kind of see it. So, mid-card title picture. So it is advancing, and I mean, they both move on to their sections, but one's kind of actually advancing. But
Yeah, we're not real big on giving people rematches.
no, not so far. We haven't been, no. We haven't done a whole lot of, to date, though, it hasn't been a whole lot of what I would call storytelling or storylines yet either. It's mostly been tournaments and just kind of the fallout of that. I mean, and how we've just, now that we've ultimately got our belts in place and a champion for every belt for all intents and purposes, we could start to develop some storylines and stuff and do some actual, I don't know.
We'll get into that after the Snap Tap or Nap tournament.
There we go. That works.
Like,
that works. Yeah. Because that's the one I've been waiting for a long time. So,
and it's coming up right after our upcoming pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's only like a month away, people. Next pay-per-view.
Yeah, there'll be 2 weeks of the qualifying matches this episode and next week. There'll be 6 total qualifying matches. So it's like qualifying matches for the men's, 3 this week, 3 next week, and then we will have probably the great ALW bash first.
Wait! Elimination Chamber, then Money in the Bank.
Sorry, Elimination Chamber, men's and women's, Money in the Bank, men's and women's, and then the great ALW bash, and then the Summer Sammy, and then the Nap Snapper Nap tournament will start.
We need to come up with a name for the pay-per-view after that, but
that's down the road.
The Reba McEntire I Am a Survivor challenge.
That's funny. Oh. Jimmy off the top rope. Got to pose over Bray for a minute. Let's go, Jimmy. Oh, super kick. Jimmy going up. Is it splash time? Splash! 1. Come on, ref. 1, 2. Ooh, that should have been 3. If that ref's hand was working normal, it should have been 3.
Come on, Bray.
Bray's got that ring rust. When he was put in this game, he hadn't been on for a while. He's been off TV for a while. Holy shit. Jimmy's wrestling a ghost.
Man, I'm just thinking of like after this, like who do we give opportunities to?
Yeah. No, that's why after the Nap Snapper Nap tournament, I think we need to sit down and come up with some storyline stuff and start actually doing some, some storyline stuff. Maybe even make a faction or two. And oh, Jimmy gets the win, big win over Bray Wyatt. I'm gonna call that a little bit of an upset. I mean, Jimmy's my guy, and I picked him, so I'm happy. But I think Jimmy beating Bray is a little bit of an upset. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
So, in your first qualifying match, Jimmy Uso moves on to Money in the Bank, and Bray Wyatt goes to the Elimination Chamber.
Let's see if we have any other upsets.
Let's see. Three-star match, very good. The fans liked it. All right, setting up for our next match, which should be, let's see here. I believe the next match should be Damian Priest versus AJ Styles. If I'm not mistaken.
That's right. We did the prelims at Clash at the Castle. How timely.
Yes.
Did we plan that ahead of time, or was that just a matter of happenstance?
I have a feeling we probably talked about it, but we probably said, oh, it's getting to be Clash at the Castle time, so let's do it. And it's roughly, but I mean,
it'll be following Clash at the Castle, technically.
Right. So Damian Priest is your guy. AJ Styles is my guy. See who advances on. Not advances on. See who goes, which one will go to Money in the Bank and which one will go to the Elimination Chamber. One of these two will join Jimmy Uso in Money in the Bank, and the other will join Bray Wyatt in Elimination Chamber. Damian Priest ramming AJ off the ring apron. Refs up to 4 count. Oh, AJ back in the ring to break up the count, or AJ sent back in the ring by Damian Priest to break up the count. What are you standing out of the way for, ref? Get out of the way. Oh, I guess it didn't break up the count. The AJ was in the ring and the count was still going. I guess now the count's then just on Damian alone at that point.
Yeah.
If you both go out, you both got to make your way back into the ring, I guess.
But if one person leaves and goes out, then the timer restarts.
Right. Oh, Damian with the pin, 1. AJ kicks out at 1. Let's go, AJ.
When we get closer to it, we're going to have to count the weeks up. We might need to do Money in the Bank and then do Elimination Chamber. Because, like, if we can have Money in the Bank on the week of Money in the Bank, like, we should do that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Ooh, short little DDT. Let's go, AJ. Ooh, scissor knee drop.
Now, for these two, it's really hard to pick as to who the upset would be.
I was just thinking that I was honestly thinking that in my head, not necessarily who the upset was, but I was thinking to myself, in real WWF, in real life WWF or WWE right now, obviously Damien's the champion, so he is a champion. It's debatable which title is bigger, his or Cody's. I think Cody's is
So,
probably bigger, but um, he is a world champion in WWE, but I still think AJ is the better wrestler, and I still think AJ. I mean, obviously AJ's had a lot longer career, active
5 years.
career, you know. So in that regard, you know, AJ's longer in the a bigger name, and in that regard, I think more of a legend. I mean, at this point, if they both retire today, AJ's obviously a Hall of Famer. I don't know about Damian Priest. I mean, that's still up for debate at this point, I think. I mean, in my opinion.
Well,
So
here's the thing: is that like AJ's like a first
one,
round Hall of
two,
Famer, you know?
yeah, first ballot. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
so for sure.
Like I think Damian Priest would be a Hall of Famer, but he wouldn't be first ballot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that his career is not over. I mean, he's only, he's either beginning or middle of his WWE career at the moment still, even at 41. So, I mean, we'll see, in assuming he stays healthy and can continue to do it physically, we'll see where he's at in another 5 to 7 years, maybe even 10, and then assess his career, statistics and titles, reigns, and all that stuff versus AJ. I mean, but AJ in the history of wrestling is one of the greatest of all time. So, I mean,
If Judgment Day continues on for a bit longer, I could definitely see Judgment Day as a faction going into the Hall of Fame too.
yeah, I might be able to see that. I mean, I could probably see that maybe. The bloodline will be
Oh, absolutely.
Hall of Fame before. Well, it just depends on when people retire, but the bloodline to me is definitely a Hall of Fame faction. For me, the jury's still out a little bit on Judgment Day. At the same time, the WWE Hall of Fame puts in almost everybody. So,
Will Sami Zayn go in for the Bloodline?
ooh, that's a good question. I think he'll be in for both. I think he'll be in as a singles wrestler and as, a pseudo honorary member of the bloodline.
Well, I was asking like when they do it, like is he
Right,
part of
when
the
the
group? Because
bloodline
like
is inducted,
NWO, like
yeah,
you only had 4 people for the
4 or 5 guys,
NWO.
yeah. I think it was 4 or 5 guys, yeah.
I think it was 4. It was
Yeah.
the Outsiders, it was Hulk Hogan, and it was Bischoff. If memory serves me correctly.
That sounds right.
Well, did they have 1, 2, 3 Kid?
Styles Clash. 1, 2.
Kick out.
God damn it, AJ. I honestly don't remember if Sean Waltman was there or not.
He might have been. If there was 5, it was him.
But either way, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't, I mean that it all depends on when the bloodline goes in and what's going on, circumstances in people's lives and all that stuff to see, whether it's. But in theory, I mean, I could see Sami.
It was him. It was not Eric Bischoff.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So it was 4, but no Eric Bischoff. Okay. So, what was I going to say? It just under having to ultimately see. I mean, I think it would. I mean, I think it would be fine for Sami to go in as a member of the Bloodline, except with the Bloodline with Roman and the Usos and Solo, as well as at some point be in individually. I mean,
man, X-Pac was saying that he didn't want to be in the Hall of Fame as a singles wrestler, and I feel like he deserves it.
Uh-oh. We got a feud brewing. Somebody's coming out to mess with AJ Styles.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor coming out to help his Judgment Day brethren.
Need to double check and see if both of these guys are in the Snap Tap or Nap tournament.
Roll 1, 2. Damian Priest, with the help of Finn Balor, gets the win. Ooh, now we've got a built-in storyline between AJ and Finn. We've got a grudge match. All right, Damian Priest moves on to Money in the Bank. AJ Styles goes to the Elimination Chamber. So as of now, we've got Jimmy Uso and Damian Priest headed to Money in the Bank, and Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles going to Elimination Chamber. We're getting ready for our third and final qualifying match of this episode. We will have 3 more next week. Our next match should be Jey Uso versus Baron Corbin. Jey Uso was drafted by Sammy Joe. Baron Corbin was drafted by myself.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out if both AJ and Finn are in the Snap Tap or Nap.
Yeah, I've got that list somewhere here. The question is, where is it? And I can tell you that one way or the other. Nappy, Snappy, or who are we talking about? I'm sorry, say it again.
Finn Balor?
No.
AJ Styles?
Yes. AJ, you have AJ. You drafted AJ, but no Finn. So.
Okay.
But we could do Finn and AJ before Nap, Snap, or Nap. But we could talk about it off air, but I'd be willing to add it to either the Great ALW Bash or Summer Sammy.
Okay.
Maybe during the qualifiers we'll get another interference, and we could have 2. We could add 1 to each and have so there'll be 4 matches on each. Either way, if the Great ALW Bash only has 3 matches and Summer Sammy has 4, or vice versa, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But we can do that then, and then AJ can then be ready for the Nap, Snap, or Nap tournament.
Well, that's also if AJ doesn't win and beat Cody at one of our shows.
Correct. That is true too. AJ is now in the Elimination Chamber. The winner gets a shot at Cody Rhodes. So in theory, he could win the Elimination Chamber and end up with a shot at Cody Rhodes. If that's the case, we'll just have to push it off, and we'll do it as soon as he's not engaged. As soon as they're both not engaged in something else. If it's after Nap, Snap, or Nap, then it is. I mean, if AJ wins that, in theory, he could have that and then, still settle his grudge with whatchamacallit. Finn Balor. Baron and Jay just exchanging strikes. Jeez Louise. Oh, now they've grabbed each other's heads. Right's left, right's left, right's left. Who shall prevail?
Ooh, the counter from Jay.
Right, yep. Two. Ooh, close. Come on, Baron, let's go. Stupid Baron Corbin, let's go. I think he's underrated. What they had to be like a 77, 78 or something.
Yeah.
I think it's underrated. I think he's higher than that, but I think he's at least 80 myself. But
I mean, he's never been world champion.
this is true. There's a lot of people that haven't been world champion, though. The guy who's wrestling right now hasn't been world champion. He's ranked a lot higher. Now he's been tag team champion, so that's something. But Baron Corbin, has he been main roster tag team champion? He was NXT tag team champion, obviously, with Bron Breakker. But was he a main card tag team champion?
He might have been, but like
main roster.
Think of like who he was with.
Yeah, I can't think of either. I know that he's held at least 2 titles on the main roster. I want to say the Intercontinental Championship.
I was thinking it was U.S.
Oh, maybe it is a U.S. title. I don't know. I thought he's held 2 titles, but maybe it's only one. Maybe it's only been the U.S. title. I thought he was an Intercontinental Champion at one point too, but maybe not. He was the King of the Ring, though. He was King Corbin for a while.
He was. Xavier Woods was too.
Yes. Yep.
Let it go, Jay. Let it go, Jay.
Jay sending Baron into the steel steps. Baron is out cold. He's not moving out there at ringside. Oh, Jay Uso gets the win by countout.
You don't see too many of those.
No, you're not. I can't remember the last time we saw that. All right. So Jimmy Uso in our final match of this episode of qualifiers for Money in the Bank and the Elimination Chamber. Jimmy Uso is the last person to qualify for Money in the Bank on this episode. So far, going to Money in the Bank, we've got Jimmy Uso, Damian Priest, and Jay Uso. Interesting, the 2 brothers in Money in the Bank. And going to Elimination Chamber, we've got Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and Baron Corbin. So join us next week for the remaining 3 matches, which will be LA Knight versus Bron Breakker, Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed, and Sheamus versus Gunther. And our main event of video 2 for our qualifying matches. Sheamus versus Gunther should be very good. I'm excited for that one. All 3 matches should be pretty good. LA Knight versus Bron Breakker should be good, and Sami Zayn's always fun to watch. So make sure and join us next week to see who continues to go on to Money in the Bank and Elimination Chamber. Unless you got anything else to say, we'll get up out of here. Peace.